what is going on, guys? My name is GamesLinks and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the Beyond Home career mod. Career mode. So the goal for today is to land on Lua because, well, I asked everyone on the channel in a poll who would want me to go to which planet, and Moon, because it's Lua, Armstrong or Ash. And 55% of people as of right now voted for Lua, so that's where I'm going. That's the goal for today, is to do something around Lua, except we have a contract to explore Armstrong, which is just typical. I'm going to try and get it to generate contracts around Lua. Now, we do have the money to actually get to Lua, so there's not really much point hunting around for a contract for Lua as of yet. It might be that I do a flyby first, and it might give me contracts based off that, and that is what I might do. Because, I have 90 science. Did I not upgrade it at the end? So I have heavy rocketry, which gives me some stuff. Fuel systems, which gives me the cool pipes, the fuel ducts. But I kind of want to get basic science, just to kickstart this career mode. And general construction gives us the crew cabin. Not that I really need that right now. Flight control, yeah, fins, that's what we need. This should be enough for us to get a flyby. As for, I think I can plant flags if I upgrade the no, this one, that's 75,000, so I should still have enough to do a flyby, but now I can plant flags. So here we are on the launch pad now. The sun is setting behind the mountains on that side, which might give us a nice view. Anyway, it's time for a flyby of Lua. We have 3,308 delta V, which should be enough for a flyby. Certainly enough for orbit, unless anything goes wrong. So let's just hope nothing goes wrong. We do have the science unit that we've unlocked, and in here we have like one of those storage units, which means we can collect a little bit more science than normal. Now, I don't have a reaction wheel on this, but I do have fins, so hopefully I'll be able to control a little bit better than the really steep or shallow gravity turn that we did before. I don't know the correct phrasing for it, but that, right off the bat, is a beautiful view. So, the one thing that I really liked about making this planet mod was I focused on the cinematic aspect. Like, it might not be the most realistic system, although I did make an attempt, but it's certainly gorgeous. Well, that's kind of why I made it, really. I really don't like the way stock looks, and I'm sure I've ranted on about this enough, but I don't like the stock planets, so I decided, let's make my own planets. And that's basically that. Anyway, the apoapsis for this must be relatively high. Oh wow, we're not actually up 50,000 yet. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Now this is a really good gravity turn. I am happy with this one. Bit on the shallow side. I honestly don't know the difference between the steep and shallow gravity turns, because you could take them either way. I'm just going to say it's not the best, but it's okay. So our apoapsis is 60,000. And we should probably burn at around 58,000. So let's go prograde. How far off? Yeah, that seems okay. And I have enough electric charge. I've only used 2, and I think this engine has an alternator, so we should be getting electric charge back from it. Right, so Lua's there. It's roughly 45 degrees. The transfer angle, the phase angle, I think it's called. I'm not great with phase angles, which is why I'm using Astrogator, because it will automatically warp to the transfer window, and it also tells you the delta V needed to do the transfer, which is quite useful, especially for if you're playing like a new planet pack. And I know the delta V map for this isn't easily accessible because I just haven't had the time to brush it up. Jade of Mar made the delta V map for Beyond Home, at least the layout. I calculated the numbers, and some of them may be off because some of the orbits have changed, but Jade of Mar made the design. And whilst I'm talking about it, I do want to mention I think it's terrorist_hunt and Gormerm I can't remember whether I said them properly, but I mean, there you go. They stream Beyond Home, at least, or have streamed Beyond Home in the past, and it's worth checking. It's worth checking those streams out. And we still have that contract to do. I completely forgot about that. So there's Lua down there. Actually, I'm going to make the camera go back to auto. It's a bit easier to focus. There we go. That is an oddly bright crater, which is quite interesting. Anyway, now that we're in space high above Lua, we should be able to do some temperature and barometer scans. Now, some of you have been saying that I should get X-Science, and I haven't had the time to look into it. So that'll be one for maybe next episode. And I think I should. I think I should try out X-Science, because it makes getting science a lot more easy than the way I'm doing it, just right-clicking everything and pressing the buttons. So I'll do one mystery goo experiment, because we're not landing on Lua. That comes later, and I don't think I'm going to get into space low, although I could try. I don't have maneuvers unlocked yet, but I have a lot of delta V, so I'm just going to get closer. And the atmosphere is 10 kilometers high, so if I just go to like 9,800, I think we'll be good. And here we are in the atmosphere, so it's time to observe the materials bay and the mystery goo container. 50 science. We're going to be like very rich in science after this. There. Is that the one that I've already... Yeah, that's the one I've already done. That would make sense as to why I can't perform the experiment. You know, that would be the logical idea. So 20 science from that, 10 from that, 24 from this, and it should be 12? 20, yeah, fair enough. Now, our periapsis is 15,000 meters, which is quite low, but remember, Rhodes' atmosphere is significantly thinner than Kerbin's, so we might be able to make it. Now, I can't quite guarantee we will be able to make it, but I have some delta V left. I do have a heat shield, I think. Yeah, I was going to say, if I forgot the heat shield, that's going to be embarrassing. And just notice I quick save that. There's the KSC. Right, let's try not to mess up this landing. We're going to be landing in a similar place to where we landed for our second flight in the previous episode. So yeah, some of you were also saying that the keyboard sounds, you're able to hear it. So yeah, you can hear that. But it's like, I can't really do much about that, to be perfectly honest, without getting a new keyboard, but that's out of the question. So I'm afraid you're all just going to have to put up with the sounds for the moment. Like, personally, I don't find them too distracting, but some of you might, so I apologise for that. I didn't point this out in the first episode, but I've updated the terrain textures for road. So if you look at the ground here, it looks a bit different to what it will look like in your current version of the game. That's because I actually fixed the material nodes on some of the planets, so when we land on Lua later on in the episode, you should be able to see the better looking ground textures for once. That looked like the other stage hitting the ground there. There it is. So we were going at a similar speed to that stage. Now my parachutes are a lot better timed than they were at the last flight of the previous episode. And yeah, so you can see the terrain textures here. I am really happy with them, how they've turned out here. A lot more detailed and closer up, when they're closer up. So we probably got, I'd say, at a guess, 275 science from that. Oh, I was so close. That's 9 off, like 8.5 off. So, science data from the surface of Lua. Finally, we got a good contract and explore Lua. Okay, what does it want us to do? Gather scientific data from it. That's basically the same one. You know, the one that we have now, I might decline it and just casually oh, okay, so plant flag on Lua pays a lot more. We are going to plant a flag on Lua. Now, with the science that we've got now, I need the decouplers. Landing, I don't think we need that just yet, despite the fact that we're about to land. Because, actually, you know what, why not? Why not? We might as well. An advanced flight control also gives us that extra edge. So we'll do this. We have half of the tech tree completed. Now, I might add some interstellar mods at the end. I haven't made up my mind completely yet. Now, my goal for this series is because, well, I didn't manage to say what my goal was for the series at all in the previous episode. But my goal for the series, and before I do this, I'm going to upgrade the tracking station. My goal for the series is to go back to the Kerbal system. And from there, we'll see what happens. But I'll come up with a better plan of action soon. Oh, I need to upgrade mission control as well. What am I doing? I'll come up with a better plan of action soon when I realise what mods I'm going to be using and everything to do with that. So there'll be a better idea later on in the series. I'm probably going to adjust the science gains before I set off to Lua. So I don't want to max out the tech tree so soon. So I'm going to lower them to, I'd say, 25%, so that we do a little bit more science on the moons before we can progress. Alright, so here we are on the launch pod. Our destination is Lua. Hopefully we'll get there in one piece. This is our rocket. We have some swivel engines here for control, a Reliant engine there, just for fuel efficiency. Our thrust weight ratio is 1.96, which is way too high. We could have put a bit more fuel on, but we already have overbuilt this in terms of delta V. We also have parachutes here because Lua has an atmosphere. And we put a reaction wheel there again for control. So it's launch time. Now I'm going to start the gravity turn quite soon. I'm going to go to let me take a guess. I'm going to say this is 80 degrees. Anyway, it's a very foggy morning here on road, and it's looking like a good day to do some science. As for landing on Lua, we should be able to get a daytime landing. Yeah, I'm going to try and make it a daytime landing to start with, but it's a little bit easier because if we go out here, we should be travelling on the day side to begin with, so I won't have to circularise my orbit. And away we go with ridiculously powerful engines. What's the thrust weight now? 4. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I reckon I overbuilt this just a little bit, having almost 3,500 delta V to spare at the end of this, I think, after circularising. Slightly less, that's fine. Now we should be able to get a decent encounter. So we have 400 delta V roughly left in this stage, which should get us to an encounter. Might be just a little bit off. Yeah, it looks like it will be. That's fine. As intended for this stage to be burnt off. I really do need to fix, well, downgrade or upgrade the scatter version. I'm not sure which way it is, but it's just the one that I'm not using now. I'd rather the sun flares didn't work than the ocean spat out. Okay. So, that looks like a really good encounter. Wow, we're gonna almost hit the surface immediately, but that's a really good encounter. And it should take us across the day side. And now you should be able to see the new terrain textures come into view. Now there are a couple of tiling issues I need to sort out, which is why this is a dev build and not the actual one. But from the looks of it, I am a massive fan of it. I might need to tile it a little bit more than it is now, just to get the detail. But apart from that, I am a happy chap. And there we have one, and that is ridiculously bright. That is really bright from the contrast there. Wow. Now, I don't think I'm going to have the fuel to land on it, unfortunately. I don't think... Oh, there's another one! You know what, we might be able to land on this one, but I'm not sure whether we'll be able to quick save after landing on it. Now, if we're lucky, we might be able to land on that fin. I'm really pushing it for Delta V if we do this, and I'm not sure whether it'll let us land here or not. So, let's find out, shall we? Parachutes have deployed. That was way too close for combat. We have to take off again. That was way too close for comfort. That was a perfect suicide burn. Completely unplanned suicide burn, which makes it very scary. But it was perfect. Now we should be able to stabilise there. Okay. Can't quick save while spoofing over, so that makes sense. And there we go. Now you'll notice that the Terraformer is shiny, and this only happens when you're actually close to it, so it can be a bit disorientating. But it is, it's reflective. It wasn't intended, but they're reflective, so... I'm hoping we don't bounce up into the air. I just want it to be a little bit brighter, there we go. And we didn't bounce into the air, it's all fine. We have 2 terraformers, 3 terraformers here, wow. And they're in a line. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so it's time to do some science landed on a terraformer. And it comes up from the main ridge highlands. Now, after lowering the science gains, we're not going to get much science from any of this. But we are landed on Lua. On a terraformer as well. I was not expecting to land on a terraformer. The only issue is this craft might fall over. Yeah, that does look like it's tipping just a little bit. Just a bit. It's fine. Terraformer. That looks dangerously close. Okay, EVA report. And guess what? Because we're near a terraformer, we get to sample the mineral structure. Breaking ground. Who? Right. So, we did an EVA report landed, didn't we? So we should be able to do one just above as well, I think. I'll do it this way. Yeah, upper atmosphere, I suppose. I mean, it's not really above 5,000 meters, but I suppose it is closer to space than what it looks like. Ah well, so there's our science for that mission, with a flag on the terraformer at the same time. You know what? I deem this I think this is an absolute win. Collect all the data. I don't remember doing the mystery goo experiment, so I am going to do another one. Yeah, okay, we have done it. It is time to return to road from the surface of a terraformer. Now, you didn't really get to see the terrain textures close up. This isn't a terrain texture here, this is just the UV map on the terraformer. But, yeah, so that's something that you can expect in the next version. And there's another one. They are quite common in the mountains. Especially in this region for some reason. I really enjoyed making them. Anyways, onwards. Let's close that. I am not going to get the Kerbal out just in... I think I've already done that in the upper atmosphere. Actually, I think I did that on the last mission. Anyway, it is time to return home. To road. This is fine. Alright, so I have quick saved in case we have to get out and push. And... hello, road. Approaching at an alarming pace. I think it'll be alright. Right, so let's use these whole 2 Delta V. There we go, there's our 2 Delta V. And we are not slowing down fast enough. Time to go. That's slowing down more, isn't it? Should have probably kept it. But we should be... Okay, maybe we shouldn't, considering it's blowing up. That's what I thought. Oh, we didn't even lose that much ablator. And as for landing, we might be cutting this a little close. There we go, just have to adjust the altitude there. Nah, I think this is fine. It's all fine. The timing of that was brilliant. And here we are, landed back at road. So yeah, only 2 missions today, but they were quite lengthy missions, so hopefully that was enjoyable to watch. And how much science did we get? Remember, this is on 20% science, so times it by 5 to get the value that we would have gotten from the previous mission. So that would have been about 250 odd, so slightly less, but we completed contracts and now we have a lot more money. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Beyond Home. Next time we might be going to Armstrong and Ash. I'm not sure which one yet, maybe one of them, maybe both. And then the episode after that might be Interplanetary, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next episode.